Hi everyone, welcome in. Thank you for meeting me today here to share this sacred space. And today, an interesting card came out today. So, this set is, I don't know if you can see that well, but sort of like in a cave. So, these cards that I made are from some game that I recycled all the cards from it. And this is the only card that I left as is from the game. And interestingly enough, it's the same portal scene on each side. So to me, this is really kind of showing you the aspect of a portal, an opportunity. And this card is sort of like, to me, representative of like a wild card and opportunities of transformation, because to me that's what a portal is. It's an opportunity. Not everyone steps into opportunity. And the other card that I drew today was this card, and this is one that I made, and I make some of these cards in such a way that I don't really know what's going to end up on the card when it's done. I kind of put random things together, and I try not to sometimes even look at the upside of this when I'm cutting the cards out. So when I flip them over, I don't really know what's going to be on that card because I make it as a big piece, like a big picture, and then I cut them down into littler pieces. And so why is that relevant? Because this card just so happens to have a lot of information about, it kind of looks like a map, and it's got stamps, which is sort of messages of correspondence. Got a lot of different things on there happening. Words about destination. 555. There's a lot on this card, and 555 is really significant in terms of when we see repeating numbers, when we see things in life. 555 is really a message of opportunity, and opportunity for evolution, really, towards your higher self and your life's purpose. And so crazy wonderful that I drew these cards together, because when combined, I think the message of these cards today is really about those opportunities that come about in our lives that offer us a chance to step into that portal, into that higher version of ourself, a higher version of our life, our ideal, right? The things we dream of, the person we dream of being, the life we dream of living. All of these opportunities of transformation. And I chose the heart, this beautiful heartstone that one of my daughters gave me. And I picked this side too, actually, because on the side it kind of looks like a little eye right there. Very interesting to me, because I really do feel that in order to navigate a life in a spiritual manner, we really have to see more with our heart than we do with our eyes. And the heart is absolutely the source of wisdom that leads you to your dreams and your desires. And so today, I just want to explore this aspect of how our heart is actually a portal. And it's a living opportunity to step into our higher self. And not because we aren't already that, because we really, truly are. But because we don't always make the choices to live in alignment with that higher version of ourself, or with that higher aspect of our ideal life, what that looks like. You already inherently are that version. You technically don't have to become it because you already are that version. But the heart is, as a portal, really shares with us wisdom and opportunity, I think. Opportunity into when circumstances arrive. Do we take advantage of those circumstances when they arrive, or do we let them pass us by? And I spent a lot of my life letting opportunities to evolve into my higher self pass me by because I wasn't ready to step into that version of self. I was intimidated, maybe, I don't know, fearful. I think several feelings arose when I really thought about stepping into the higher version of myself. And I think it's important to look at it not as an end result destination on a day-to-day basis. And more importantly, to look at it as one foot in front of the other. One small step at a time. And stepping into that unknown can be very uncomfortable because it's not our normal life comfort, our normal feelings of everyday normality, the patterning of our everyday life. This is what I'm used to. This is what I'm comfortable with. I'll just stay right here because this feels comfortable. And there can be something else out there that you know you want entirely without a shadow of a doubt, but you may not have the courage to step into that, or fear of what you might lose. And sometimes even for fear of what you might gain. Can you handle everything that you might gain? Can you handle the responsibility of it? Can you handle the eyes upon you? Can you handle all of the difficult things that you're going to have to go through in order to get to that point? And yes, you can. I really believe that you can. And right now, outside, the crows are really going crazy. And again, crows are inner truth to me. That inner truth of knowing what your heart wants and having the courage to step through the portal, stepping out of the known and into the unknown. And really the cave to me is what they're used to. The cave is what they're comfortable in. It's shelter, it's safety. The ocean beyond and the horizon of not really knowing, that's kind of what that symbolizes to me. But as you'll also notice, that's where the light is. And so no matter how scary it can seem to step out of your cave, so to speak, into this higher version of yourself, to align with that higher version of self, that is so important. And again, one step at a time. It's not like you have to, jump into something so huge that overnight your whole life flips upside down. And that could happen. But if you take one simple step at a time into that new direction, that in and of itself is bravery. It's courage. It's stepping into the unknown, but that unknown also lives in your heart. And that unknown dream, that unknown desire, and that daydream, sort of a daydream of, my life. I feel in some way, in the core of my being, in the depth of my being, I feel like my life should look differently than it does now. I feel like there is more. So much more. And that is what has led me much of my life. Okay, I've always had the dreams, the desires, all of those things living inside my heart. But for many, many years, I didn't have the courage to step into any of that. I didn't have the stability within myself to step into that. And sometimes it just takes the small steps, like I said, the small steps into one conscious decision, one conscious choice into an end goal. And so it's so important for us to realize that those dreams, those things that we desire, those live in our heart for a reason. And they are there. I just got the visual of like, I don't know, in old cartoons, the carrot on sort of a fishing pole trying to catch Bugs Bunny. And that's really what it reminds me of, in a sense of those dreams are in your heart, sort of as the pull to get you to try to follow those ideas, those whims, the feelings. They're not there for no reason. They're there because you're meant to follow them. It's beneficial for you to follow them. And in today's society, we've really been programmed, really, to shut a lot of that down, because logically, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do such a thing when it logically makes no sense? That's a whole nother episode in and of itself. But really, it's important for us to realize that Those are all things that ways we've been programmed to fear that we're not good enough, we're unworthy. We're not worthy of having this ideal life. We're not worthy of having this ideal outcome. Who are we to deserve this? Maybe I've done something I'm not proud of in my life. Maybe I haven't lived in such a way that I feel I deserve this thing. But you do. You have the dream inside of you for a reason. And you're meant to follow that pull. You're meant to step outside your box, step outside your cave, and go into that unknown. Where the light is taking you, where your heart is taking you. Step into what your heart wants. And that is exactly what's going to step you into your ideal self, your ideal life. Those are the things that we are meant to follow to propel us to that place. I'm just trying to think for a moment if there's anything else that wants to come through regarding any of this. Really, I suppose just that I know how difficult it is. When you want more out of your life, when you hope for more out of your life, but you feel stuck. You feel like it doesn't make sense to follow what you want. Absolutely, I've been there. And I'm certain that anybody who has experienced a portion of their ideal life or are currently living their ideal life, I'm certain that those people have experienced that same fear. And it's a part of letting go of what necessarily makes sense on paper, makes sense to the people around you. All of the things make sense to how your life currently works. But none of that matters if you're not following your heart. And some people probably will tell you that it makes no sense and maybe even tell you you're crazy if you're following your heart. But I'm telling you from my own personal experience and from other people I also know who are living this closer, let's say closer to this ideal, right? Every step of getting closer to this ideal is scary. It's not easy. But every step you take in the direction of what your heart wants, every time after that gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier. It's a journey. Some people call it the temple path. And I love that, actually, because the temple path really summarizes to me what this spiritual awakening path is. And it, like I said in the beginning, it's that journey into your higher self and your life's purpose. You know, why you're here. What are you here to contribute to the world? How are you supposed to contribute love, ultimately love, because that's the gift that we give to the world. How are you supposed to give love to the world when you're not even giving that to yourself? And that is the temple path. Full circle. You give the love to yourself, and eventually you get to the place where you're giving that to the world. on a larger scale. So I think that's so important for us to sit with for a few moments, to really absorb how profound that is, because following that path of love, again, through the heart. How do we do that? Through the heart. Your heart is a portal. And love in your life is no accident. Who you love, what you love to do, what you aspire to do with that love, what you aspire to create, all of that has a foundation of love, because it's living in your heart. So again, like I said before, that version of you, it isn't someone for you to become, because really you already are that. You already are that version of yourself. It's just up to you to step into yourself deeper, on a deeper level, and discover that person for yourself. Because that's the only thing that's holding you back from becoming what you dream of becoming, is yourself. And your own fears, and whatever else is getting in your way. I just want to also share before I close out for today that I've recently been talking with one of my daughters, that for everyone really, but really I see this a lot with women. It's very hard for women often to love themselves. We're so critical of ourselves, and many men too, because they feel like they haven't performed enough, they haven't done enough, they haven't given enough. And often with men and women, we give very much to others, but we don't give to ourselves. And I guess that's how I want to close this out today, is talking about how important it is to give that same love to yourself. And again, that's right back to the basis of what this is that love for yourself is how you get to your ideal. Love for yourself, forgiveness for yourself, compassion for yourself. Those are the portals through which we find that deeper unity within ourselves, that intimacy within ourselves, and ultimately that love that we find for ourselves, that brings us, uncovers really, I don't even want to say brings us, because ultimately what's happening is you're uncovering that version of self that is currently covered by layers of false beliefs. So think of all these things today, please. For the next couple of days, think about how you limit yourself from stepping into the ideal version of yourself, the ideal of your life, because you deserve it. You deserve those things. And really think about how profound that life, that version of you, the impact. We all want to have impact on making the world a better place, helping other people. Not everyone has this wired into them, but I would say that anybody watching these videos definitely has that wired into them. You're here for a reason. Love yourself into that reason. Love yourself into that destination. Love yourself into that version of yourself. Because it's all up to you. It's not up to anybody else to get you there. It's only up to you. So with that, I will leave it there. I thank you so much for showing up today to receive these codes of life. Because truly that's what this is. Receiving codes that already live within you. They're just activating. Because on a deeper surface level, you know the things that I've said to be true. You feel it to be true. And if you don't, you probably wouldn't be here. So I appreciate you so much. So thankful that we got to spend this time today. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, please. Share if you feel so inclined. I'm sending you so much love. And until next time.